Absolutely.
Right. So
Absolutely.
uh, I met Marko and his mother a number of years ago and fell in love with their white port and their liqueurs and their vodkas. And so I asked him to come on and be one of our featured speakers. He has the most phenomenal uh, distillery that I have ever seen. And they are the kindest family that you will ever meet. So, with that, I would like you to meet Marko and let him talk. But before I said that, Diane, would you please say a prayer for us? Open with a prayer. Diane, you're muted.
Bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, we pray for guidance for our country today, that we will always be able to enjoy the freedoms you have so blessed us with. We pray that we will do our part to hold true to the ideas and Christian values that our ancestors set for us. Bless each one of us today. Amen.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you. The other thing, Marko, before you start, I wanted to tell them that we have the best hand sanitizer that we purchased from Marko's distillery. So if you don't, after you finish talking about the distillery, if you don't mind telling them about that, because it's the greatest hand sanitizer
We love it.
world. We love
Thank
it.
you. I think it's one of the best in the world too.
It is.
And it's all about making quality products, no matter if it's hand sanitizer or blood wallet liqueur. If you use fantastic products, you have the opportunity to make fantastic products. And
It's not sticky. It's great.
no, I use the Bear. We follow the WHO formula, the World Health Organization formula for hand sanitizer spray. So it's not a gel, so it's even cleaner than a gel. And the bare minimum of glycerin that is required in a hand sanitizer spray is 0.125% by volume, and I use 0.125%. So it is the bare minimum of glycerin. So when you spray it on your hands, it evaporates super fast.
It does.
Yeah, and it just leaves just the bare minimum of glycerin residue.
It's a good feeling. You really feel clean. It's great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marko, for telling us about that.
And that we can sell retail direct. Oh my God, it is crazy. I mean, for 38 years, I've been wanting to sell something in a 5-gallon bucket, and so it was like, oh, we can sell retail direct for hand sanitizer. I'm coming out with 5-gallon carboys. I'm coming out with gallon jugs. I'm coming out with all these different sizes.
And I have a gallon. I bought a gallon.
Smart.
You.
Smart.
And now you have a coupon online.
Oh, good.
You have a discount.
Yeah.
So, all right. It's all yours, Marko.
Well, yeah, thank you. I mean, that was those were some crazy times last year for us, because when everything started to hit, our distillery is pretty much 80% on premise, 20% off premise, which means we are focused on selling our products to distributors, and distributors are selling our products into restaurants and bars and hotels. And when all of the COVID turned on, all of our customers shut down, or a major percentage, and so we had to figure out what to do. And the TTB said that we could make hand sanitizer, so we jumped right on it. And my wife and I, within it took about 5 weeks to develop a brand, order the ingredients, order the packaging, and get everything up and running. And we pivoted towards making hand sanitizer for the first 2 or 3 months after our sales completely shut down to zero. And it was fun because that was the first time in my life that I actually did get to sell a retail product retail direct to somebody. So hand sanitizer. Oh my God, who knew? But hey, we did it, and we bounced back, and now we're back into distilling and making spirits and wines like the black walnut liqueur and that green tea vodka. I have extract that I'm going to be processing here pretty soon, and I'm thinking about making an RTD, a ready to drink cocktail with the green tea vodka in it. Just getting Meyer lemon juice and the green tea vodka and cutting it down to 20% and making pre-made cocktails. Because that, every time we do charity events where we have a little bar set up, that is our go-to cocktail for large groups of people, because it works. It's delicious. It doesn't matter if it's blazing hot out or cold out. This cocktail is, with green tea vodka and lemonade on the rocks with a lemon twist, easy to do and tastes great. So I think we're going to make an RTD out of it. So working on that, working on another product as well. There's if you ever had a Thai iced tea, that's with black tea, and usually the tea that is used to make specifically a Thai iced tea, it has a dye in it to make it orange instead of the really dark tea is actually dark green, maybe brown. So the Thai iced tea is always a little bit slightly orange, but I love turmeric, and so I'm working on making getting a specific black tea blend and then extracting that and adding turmeric instead of artificial glowing orange to make it a different color. So working on that, and I'm working on the coconut and the cream side of this cocktail right now too. So that might hopefully will roll out this year, but we'll see.
Do you have a backdrop behind you, or are you in a building?
This is our distillery. This is there's the barrels, and over here is that's the still right there. So let's see. There's the still.
Oh,
So that is a Charente cognac still from the Prulot family in Cognac, France. The Prulot family has been building alembic pot stills for about almost 400 years now. And we had that made brand new and shipped over from Cognac in 1983. So I was 10, and my first job in the distillery with my family, with my dad, was to get in the still and sit on a bucket and scrub with a green scrubber the inside top of the pot still with TSP dripping on my head. And man, I felt like I was done, but my dad was like, "You're not done." And so yeah, I started inside the still in this distillery, and now my wife and I are buying the distillery from my mom and dad, so they're retired, and so we're all over it, and we're continuing, and we have about six employees, including ourselves, and we're making a living doing what we can. So my mom and dad still live over on Spring Mountain, and so that's where the winery is, and we added a brandy distillery to that license to make we can only make brandy to fortify wines in that facility on Spring Mountain. So that's why we make port. We used to make a product, an aperitif, which is a fortified wine flavored with something. So we made a pomegranate aperitif, because in Northern California, in Napa Valley, if you drive southeast into the big valley near Madera, there are a lot of pomegranates. We have a grower that has about 200 acres of pomegranates. And it was pretty funny because I asked my dad, I'm like, well, I know there's a couple different species, a couple different varieties of pomegranates that grow. And when we first started out talking about it, and he wanted to do it, I said, so what variety are we going to get? He said, wonderful. But I know we're going to get fantastic pomegranates because it makes sense, and there's growers in Madera that grow fantastic pomegranates. But what variety are we going to get? He said, wonderful. I'm like, what? I know they're going to be wonderful, Dad. He's like, no, the variety is called Wonderful. It's the variety's name is pomegranate Wonderful, the wonderful pomegranate. I'm like, okay. So that's the variety of pomegranate that we get, fresh picked, right near Halloween, right on the end of October is the peak of the season for these pomegranates. And fresh pomegranate juice. Our grower Alex, he has his own. He created his own pressing technique that takes the whole pomegranate and lightly presses out the juice, separates the husk, and separates out the seeds. And his whole gig was the pomegranate juice that he made was fantastic, but he was after the pomegranate seeds because pressed pomegranate seed oil has some cancer reversing qualities to it. And I think he was getting like $1,200 a liter for the pressed pomegranate seed oil. So it was almost like the juice was a byproduct of his pomegranate seed oil processing. So it worked out really well. And the husks he would just ship off to different ranchers because the cattle just love pomegranate husks. So we really utilized the whole fruit. And so we got the juicy part, and we would take that and blend it with wine, and then fortify it with the brandy that we distilled, add a pinch of sugar to round off the acidity, and make an aperitif, pomegranate aperitif at the winery. So, and then at the time that was in 2000, early 2000s, and at the time we had maybe 2005, 2007, and at that time we had a lot of 2005, 2007, and we had a lot of people wanting to try the vodkas by then. But unfortunately, we couldn't really try the vodkas on top of Spring Mountain at the winery because the vodkas were a distilled spirit made in Ukiah so we can't, there's no commingling going on between distilled spirits and wine spirits. So I said, how do we get it so that when everyone shows up because they want to try the vodkas, because the vodkas have been out in the market now for 7 years, we need to make something in the winery that represents and kind of represents the flavors of vodkas that we're making. So let's make a green tea aperitif as well. So we made green tea extract with brandy, and then fortified, and then put wine, 10% wine, and the brandy and the extract, and a little bit of sugar to balance out the tannins from the tea. And then we made green tea aperitif at the winery to kind of help out because we couldn't sell the vodkas direct. And so we found a way to find a product to make people happy with. Kind of bizarre.
And can you show us a little bit more of the still? Can you?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
See. Right there. So the copper part, this right here, that's a rotary fermenter. So that, if you want to make very extracted red wine, that does a wonderful job. If you want to extract all the colors and flavors out of blood oranges and Meyer lemons and ruby red grapefruit, that does a really nice job. But the still, you see the onion head, that is the copper alembic pot still. And that holds 660 gallons of wine or beer at a time. And then it's a live flame, so there's a 1,000,000 BTU burner. It's just like a copper pot on the stove. And whereas a copper pot on the stove vaporizes things and steams filling your kitchen, we collect that steam, and there's a pipe that goes to the tank right there. That tank is the condenser. So there's a big coil, a 3-inch copper pipe, 180 feet long, like the length of 3 Freightliners, submersed in that tank of water. So the steam travels from the still through the pipe in the coil, and the coil is submersed in water. So the water is cooling the pipe, condensing the steam into liquid again, and then it comes off the pipe as distilled spirit. So with that type of still, it's super slow process. It's a double distillation process because it that's the way it's set up. And so when you put wine in there, say we're going to make some brandy, we'll put wine in there, 13% alcohol wine, and we'll heat it up. The wine will start to boil, and what's boiling is the alcohol, because alcohol boils at a lower temperature than water. That's how we can physically make distilled spirit, by removing the alcohol from the wine and collecting it as distilled spirit. And what's left over in the still is water, color, acid, anything that's a bigger molecule than an ethanol molecule or an essential oil molecule. Because anything that you distill is crystal clear when it comes off the still, because color is a solid. So let's just say if you have a red wine, and you wanted to distill that color out, you would have to heat that still up to 500 degrees. And then you would melt the color into a liquid, and then you'd have to heat that liquid to get that to boil, say 600 degrees. So it's physically impossible for an alcohol still to get to 600 degrees. So that color never turns into a liquid, never vaporizes, always stays as a solid, and is always left in the still. So that's why when you distill something, it's always crystal clear until you put it into a French oak barrel.
Okay.
Yeah. So once you have that wine and you're distilling it, you have 3 fractions of the distillate that you collect in 3 different tanks. The first part of the distillate is called heads. The second part of the distillation is called hearts. Third part of the distillation is called tails. And each one has its own characteristics. And you want to separate them out, because you don't want all the characteristics from the heads. You don't want all the characteristics of the tails, but you want some, because the tails have body. The heads have really top note flavors, but you don't want all of them. It's a balancing act between collecting the heads and the hearts and the tails. So once you do a run of wine, you get, out of 600 gallons, you get about 200 gallons of hearts. You save that in the tank. Heads and tails, you collect that, and then you put wine over the top of it, and you distill it again. So you're constantly distilling wine until you have 600 gallons of hearts. So it takes about 3 to 4 wine runs to do. And then once you have enough hearts to do a hearts run, or brûlée is the French term, you do a brûlée run, then you take just the hearts that you just made and you put those in the still by themselves. And then you fire it back up. And then it comes out higher proof, because that maybe the hearts come out about 30% alcohol from 8% to 30. And then you put it in the still, you distill it again, and now it's coming out at 160 proof for a long time. That's when you take a nap. And then you're collecting brandy, and then higher boiling point alcohols are going to start distilling over. Do you want some? Yes. Do you want all of them? No. But that's why we taste and smell all the cuts, and I make all the cuts by smell and taste. I have a hydrometer to show me what proof's coming out. It's kind of a reference point of the run, but everything is cut by taste and smell. So it's a true art. and everybody, if we all had the same still and the same wine, we would all make different cuts. It depends on your mood, depends on the wine, depends on what time of the day or night it is. Because my dad taught me in the 80s that we run 24 hours a day, and you just don't stop until the tank is dry. So we would distill day and night for weeks straight. And so I got good at taking a nap really quick whenever I could.
Marco, please tell them about your history back into the 1700s again. A few of
Yeah.
them that came in. Thank
Yeah,
you.
sure. So my family has been distilling since 1751, back in Yugoslavia, in Serbia, and it was a successful little business that they had in the Vojvodina Valley in a small little village called Mol, and up to the mid 60s, late 60s, when Yugoslavia was still, kind of privately owned. It was working really well, and Tito came in and nationalized our distillery, my dad's distillery complex, and left him with a very small, half-acre vineyard on the other side of the river in Novi Sad. So it was time for my dad to leave, and he was the first out of 12 generations to get out of town. But there was really didn't really leave him much, of a decision. So he took off and went to Geisenheim in Germany for to learn to get his enology degree, winemaking degree, and then from there he shipped out to Canada and almost died on that trip. They got picked up by a Greek freighter when their ship was lost power in a storm and was about ready to they were like 200 miles south of where they were supposed to land, but they got picked up. So he had whatever he had in his pockets in his bag when he jumped off the ship onto this Greek freighter, and they dropped him off in Canada with like $17 or something like that. Crazy. And so he made it, and someone heard about my dad being a certified enologist and brought him into Michigan, into Traverse City. And that's where my dad started Chateau Grand Traverse. And that's where my mom was going to college. And that's where they met. And they had my sister in 70. And then my dad got a winemaking job in Central Valley, California. And so they packed up and moved out to California. And then I was born in 73 in Central Valley. And my parents always went up to Napa Valley for weekends. And they actually bought the property on Spring Mountain in 72, like 17 acres with a cabin overlooking the Napa Valley. It was a lot. It was about 32 grand, something like that. Back then, 17 acres. And then my dad was a winemaker for Behringer, for the experimental winery, and helped set up the Alexander Valley vineyards for Behringer. And then he got another job up in Mendocino County, and for Teisling and Thailand vineyards on this big ranch in between Hopland and Ukiah. And so he was a winemaker there. We moved there. And then once the wines went dry in 82, then my dad said, that's it. We're going to start our own winery and our own distillery. And they started it in this building right here. We're in an industrial park. And so we got 1 unit or 2 unit. No, we got 2 units, like 3,000 square feet, and bought a still alembic. This alembic, copper alembic pot still, right there. And we started making brandy, and we started making wines. And in the early 80s, there wasn't a really big demand for California high-end brandy, but who cares? We started doing it. And so we started putting things in the barrel, and eventually we started to release some of the brandies. Our 1983 Folie Blanche brandy, that was the very first thing that we started making. We aged that for 28 years in the barrel. I was like, Dad, I think it's ready. I mean, it's 28 years, man. It's time. We gotta sell some of this. he doesn't like getting rid of anything. And so it was a struggle, but we got some out of the barrel, and we bottled it. And looks like this. After you've been drinking it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, comes the coin. We get the wax every top of it, and it's really tasty. This is classically. Yeah, you think they're having an air show over the top of us today?
Oh, is that? I was wondering where that was.
Sorry. It's a nice day here today. I think everyone's just out and about blasting around in the planes.
Yes,
I wouldn't blame
good.
them. I'd do the same thing too if I had one. But
I would too.
yeah. So if you ever have your plane and you want to come see us, the municipal airport is about a mile away. So you can just fly on in, and we'll come pick you up at the airport.
And Marko, they have questions. Do you have visiting in either of your places? Can they come and do tours?
We don't, because I wish we could, but with our California laws, we can't sell retail direct in the distillery. So we don't have normal tasting hours or something, unfortunately, in the distillery in Ukiah. That being said, we could, if someone gives us a call or an email and says they're going to be in town, they're going to be in Ukiah, we could try to accommodate, but we don't have a sales and tasting room. That's it's been frustrating for us and for people that want to stop by for 38 years, but that's just the way the laws are for California distilleries. There is a license called a Type 74 license that you could get, but it would allow us to be able to sell 3 bottles a day to a person that stopped by, but you can't import amazing tequila from Arandas, from the Highlands, and you can't contract bottle for people. So there's a lot of strikes against us for not being able to get the Type 74. So I wish I could say, yes, we had a tasting room, but we don't. And up in the winery on Spring Mountain, my parents are retired, and so we're just we're not doing a whole lot there. They're done. They just want to have the property and chill out. And we make wine every once in a while. Make about 10 barrels of wines, enough to make a mess in the fall, and put that away. And we make ports every once in a while as well, still. But we still have ports from 06 that are still in the barrel up there. I think, eventually my plan is to move my family down, my wife and my 2 boys, back down to St. Helena. And then that would give me a chance to fire up the winery again and have tastings there. I would turn it into a brandy showroom, because brandy, not vodka or whiskey or rum, I could sell retail direct. So I can make it in Ukiah, tax pay it, put it in the bottle, and transfer it to the winery. And then we could have a good time on top of Spring Mountain. We could try it and buy it up there. So
Well,
I think that sounds like a great idea to me.
I think it sounds like a great idea. Marko, you have just been absolutely delightful to come on and tell the history of Charbay and share everything with us, and also for you to come on early and let us chit and chat with you and find out more about your family
Absolutely.
and Charbay. So with that, Glenn, would you like to do us a toast? Glenn is our official Toastmaster.
Oh, I love that.
Sorry, I don't have one of your products with which to toast, but
Oh, that's okay.
You will.
on behalf of the officers and members of the society, I want to thank you for joining us today and sharing your story. The Karakasevic family's success as winemakers and distillers in this country is an inspiration and a living embodiment of seeking and achieving the American dream. As a sailor, I personally look forward to enjoying my first taste of your award-winning ports. We wish you, your family, and your employees joy and good health, and may Charbay Winery continue to prosper and flourish. Cheers.
Oh, cheers to that. Really, thank you. Cheers,
Here,
everybody.
Here, here. Thank you so much. And Marko,
What a way to start the weekend.
Yes. And we invite you to stay on. We are going to be hearing from Asher Chocolates right
nice.
now. And Lori, are you ready to start with Asher, please?
Has she had the chance to join? Do you know if she's been able to join? I know she's actually at the chocolate factory now, and she's in the retail store working. So we're waiting for her to join. She should be joining any second.
All right.
So while we're waiting for her to join, I think I might just give you a little bit of background. Why don't you watch for her to join? That would be great.
I will.
Okay, so Asher's Chocolates is located here in Souderton, Pennsylvania. Actually, they have two locations, one in Lewistown. Lewistown was a chocolatier that was purchased by Asher's Chocolates, and they've been making chocolates for over 100 years. I did have the opportunity to visit the retail store this week and picked up some of my favorite chocolates. Emma Hodgson is a dear friend of mine, and she has been working for Asher's for over 20 years in various aspects of chocolate making. She did express that they have been very, very good to her. So she has really enjoyed her time with them. She's done everything from production to operations, and now she's actually working in the retail store. So one of the reasons that she's so busy today in the retail store is because clearly it's almost Valentine's Day. And when I went to visit the store, it's actually adorable. I had put out a post on Facebook to share with you what was happening in the store. And she shared with me that at Christmas time, it gets so busy that certainly because of our current circumstances, they had to have someone watching the door. And there was a line out the door, and they only could let certain people in. There you go. There's your Asher's Chocolates. Mine are on my little plate. There you go. Mine are on my little plate. I don't know if you can, let me put this in front of me. My little love plate for Valentine's Day. My little plate. Yes. So as I was sharing, I tried to grab
hers.
They're so busy at Christmas that they had to have a door watcher. They could only let about 10 people into the store at a time. So I can imagine that they're probably very busy today, and I know she's trying to log into Zoom. So as soon as she gets in, we'll start with her. But I just want to share a little bit about the store. So the chocolates that I have today are dark chocolate covered vanilla caramel, which are my absolute favorites. And then I also have dark chocolate covered pretzels, mini pretzels, which I absolutely love. And then I love. And then I picked up for my husband, I picked up pecan caramel covered patties, dark chocolate, which are basically turtles, but can't use the name turtles. You have to use that's a branded name. So they're pecan caramel covered dark chocolate covered patties. And when I brought them home, my husband, went bananas. He just loves the turtles. So yes, there's her candy.
Vanna.
There's Vanna. So a couple things that she explained about the chocolates as she's coming on, I'll share with you, because we had a meeting with her and it was just delightful. they actually have liquid chocolate shipped in, liquid chocolate. So, I mean, and from tasting the chocolates, let me just tell you, you can tell a significant difference between the chocolate that's brought in to actually make their candies. So liquid chocolate brought in. And what was really funny is as I was pulling into their factory, I saw this tanker truck pull out and I was looking at it to figure out whether or not they had just gotten a delivery of chocolate because I had heard this story. So it's very educational to learn more about this. And as I pulled into their parking lot, I kid you not, I could smell the chocolate as I was pulling in, and it was such a delicious fragrance. Some of the other items that I saw in there, I mean, you name it. They also have a local area where they sell local products. For example, they'll sell locally sourced jams, locally sourced honey. So they also are a big supporter of local products within the area as well. So that was also very intriguing to know that they support locally. And then one thing that I had commented on when I went into the store, and hopefully she'll be able to, she's actually there and she can show you pictures, is I commented on the decor. And I shared that I just thought it was so lovely because there's balconies that have been put into place and there's awnings that are coming across the top. And I said, this is so beautiful. And she said, please don't get too attached because we're going to be remodeling soon. This was the actual decor for the last 100 years. And I said, oh, I think it's beautiful. It reminds me of that time period. And I think it's beautiful. And it actually looks like several different little shops within.
Emma's here. Emma's here.
She's here. Okay.
Emma's here.
So,
Emma's here.
Emma, I've given a background of my visit to your store and my purchases, but you are the subject matter expert. So without further ado,
Take it on.
introduce Emma.
Hi. Oh, it's so nice to be with you. Thank you so much. I'm in my office, so it's not that exciting looking in here because the store is packed with people right now. So hopefully I'll be able to get out there. I did send you a video. Do you have that video to be able to share?
I have not been able to play it, but I will after it's over. Yes.
Okay, because that shows a little trip around the store. So it's so nice the other day. We're all masked up all the time, so it's nice to have my face showing. So in the store, so Lori came in the other day and she's like, hi. And I'm like, oh yeah. It's so hard to recognize people with a mask on, but it was so great to see you. And then we did take some pictures. So that was great. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me. Asher's Chocolates. What can I say? We're the best. We have been in business since 1892. It's a family owned and operated candy store and candy company. So we sell to all 50 states and 10 different countries. I see you're drinking wine and I'm very jealous.
Marco's fault.
That's great. I'm still at work here till 5:15. So Asher's has been in business since 1892. So we were in Germantown, Pennsylvania for 100 years before moving out here in 1998. And I came to work here in 1998 at this candy store. And I have been here the whole time. I have raised my kids. I was pregnant, had another baby. I put my kids through college. I have another one going off to college in a year and a half. And it's been a wonderful place to work. And I'm really so lucky. We sell to Disney World and all different companies. We even sell to Hershey, and we do all the fudge down the boardwalk, and we do all kinds of fun things. We're just, it's candy. Before I worked here, I worked for insurance. If you can imagine, it was so. And then I came here. So candy is where it's at. So really, you guys want to see the candy, right? Is that really what? That's, and are you eating the candy right now? Eating chocolate? Okay. So some of the I'll tell you some of the big sellers right now. And you can go to ashers.com and see a lot of our candy.
A lot of us already bought it.
This right here, chocolate covered potato chips. Have you had chocolate covered potato chips before? They are amazing, amazing. So I'll show you. Chocolate covered potato chips. And that's right what it is. It's just, it's fantastic. So I'll show you some of the other things we have, like nonpareils. Right now for Valentine's, chocolate covered cherries are the thing. And these are the cherries that have the liquid that comes out. It's not the cream inside. They're the maraschino cherries with the liquid. They're just delicious. Sea salt caramels.
Good to be in the house.
That's the thing right now. And I told you my favorite candy is just the traditional caramel. We call it the vanilla caramel because we also carry a chocolate caramel, but the vanilla caramel with milk chocolate is that's my favorite. We have lots and lots of things. I see some of you. I only see you once in a while. I don't see everybody.
Let me take you off. I had you pinned. I'll unpin you. Hold on. I'll unpin you.
How many people are here?
131.
Are you from everywhere? All over the country?
Okay, yell where you're from. Marco's from California, Texas. Unmute and yell where you're from.
Maryland.
Michigan,
Florida,
Georgia,
Arkansas,
Virginia,
North Carolina,
Vermont,
Louisiana,
Colorado,
Vermont.
Jersey,
Florida,
Washington,
oh, I
Georgia,
love it.
New York City,
Georgia,
Florida.
Okay, you heard from all of them, Emma.
Wow, that's wonderful. Well, yeah, I just heard New York City. My son just moved from Brooklyn into Chelsea. So he called me from his apartment yesterday. We're moved in. I'm so excited.
Yay.
I have a daughter in Brooklyn. It's the new hot place.
Yeah, well, he's been there from 2014, I guess. So he and his wife just got a 3-bedroom apartment in Manhattan, which you can do now, apparently.
Oh,
Well, it's so great to see everybody from all over the place. We are in Pennsylvania. So we were in the Germantown section, which is like Philadelphia. We were like right on the outskirts of Philadelphia. So Chester Asher started the company, and he was from Canada, and he spent 5 years there and then came to Philadelphia. And for 100 years, they were there. And they had buildings that were across the street from each other. So they would have everything delivered, and they would have to get things from one side to the other. So they built this long bridge that went above the street from one side to the other. So they would make candy, do things, and then send it across and get it to the warehouse. Well, that was ridiculous. I mean, after a while, it was just, it wasn't going to work. So they thought, where can we go? So they kept looking further and further out. We're about 30 miles from Philadelphia. So they bought 33 acres out here and started building, and they built on 11 acres. So that's how big our building is. Everything comes in one side. So all the raw materials, and we have a QA department that checks everything. So they check the cherries and the butter and the cream and just everything that comes in. We do have our chocolate. I heard Lori was saying that earlier. That is made for us, that is made to our specifications, and they bring it in with tanker trucks, and we have big things that go, you can see in the ceiling, you know, when you look up in the factory, you can see these pipes that go, and you know that there's milk chocolate and dark chocolate and sugar-free and different things. So everything comes in one side. The candy gets made, it goes down the lines, it gets cooled, it gets into the warehouse, and then it gets picked and packed and out into a truck. That's huge compared to how it was in Germantown, which was very different. So it's just the perfect way it goes now. And we also source all of our cream and butter, everything that we use, we source locally. So that's a really great thing for Pennsylvania. And if you didn't know, Pennsylvania is the largest employer in the confectionery business. In the whole country. So we have Hershey's and Asher's and all different kinds of candy companies. In fact, Chester Asher started the RCAP, the Retail Confectioners Association, RCA, I guess, and confectioners from all over the place. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. So his son took over, and the generations came, and then it was Bob and Jack, and then their kids, and then then they broke apart, and now it's Bob Asher and Jeff Asher. So Jeff Asher is actually the president, and his children now are the 5th generation. They just started working. And if anybody watches QVC, so years ago in the 2000s, I did QVC for Asher's. I would go on the air and met Joan Rivers, who went on before me, and sold candy. So now it's Sophie Asher has grown up. She's 21, and she goes on air and sells the candy on QVC, which is it's kind of cool. So Chet, who's actually named Chester, and Sophie are the 5th generation, and they're just learning. They just started coming in the last year, and after the college, and so they're learning what to do. It's a pretty great place to work. So let me tell you some other things. We do have a website, ashers.com, if you want to look on there. I would say our biggest seller are chocolate covered pretzels right here, milk chocolate, dark chocolate. They're absolutely fabulous. And I was saying the other day that my favorite piece is the caramel, and my second favorite, I don't know, they're kind of tied. People say, they work in like an ice cream shop or in a pizza shop and they get really sick of it. Not with chocolate, because you could have like see that almond butter crunch one day, a caramel another day, a cherry another. They're not the same animal. You could just, I don't get sick of it at all. Pecan caramel patties. Is that what you bought, Lori? Is it the pecan? I think it was the
pecan covered.
Yeah, the pecan caramel. It was this right here.
That's what I bought right there. Mm-hmm.
Right here. Right. I got my nails done. Can you see? Bright pink for Valentine's. But you see that?
Pretty.
That's pretty amazing. And it's so delicious. And it does smell really great here. It smells really great. I'll show you what else we have here. I have this big tray of candy. So buttercreams are huge. Our vanilla buttercreams, we have those in milk and dark. Almond bark. And the cherries, we foil wrap ours, which I love. And another thing that's amazing, jumbo marshmallows. We make our own marshmallows, and not a lot of companies do that. So let's see if I can break that open.
You have
See
to
that
eat
marshmallow?
do that.
Oh, don't worry, I'm going to eat all this candy. We're having a big Super Bowl party tomorrow of all two of us. And we're making all this different stuff, and I'll have a big, I'm going to make either cupcakes or a cheesecake and have candy all sticking out the top of it, because that's what I do. I'm the person that brings the tray of candy, or, shows up and people say, Emma, what is this? Tell me which ones are the caramels. I'm like, it's like a magician kind of thing. I can point out what everything is. And here's another thing. I don't even know if we can get these online, but in the candy store, we cover them with M&Ms.
Oh, that's fun.
I know. It's great. And you know what? Another really great thing about my job, just, apart from about like what a great company it is, but just my job at Asher's. So I've seen people through the years. I've seen kids come in when they were babies. I've been here for over 22 years. So I've given them their first piece of candy, and then they've come in with special occasions. It's the greatest thing. People come in, they want candy for, weddings or graduations or things. So I've got to see a lot of kids grow up, and then we become part of their lives, part of their family traditions, So we have a lot of really older people who come in and say, they have to get the candy because it's part of their tradition. It's part of their family. It's their life. And then the kids start it too. And that's really a really cool thing. So do you guys have any questions for me?
I have a compliment for you.
Oh.
My camera got turned off. I have a compliment for you. I noticed you have a WordPress site and 2 thumbs up. That's
Oh,
my
yay.
favorite company.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yay. That's wonderful. Oh my goodness.
Where do you get your chocolate?
So we source it. We have a company that does it just for us. We don't give all our secrets out. But they make our chocolate to our specification. So it's just for us. Yeah, we can't give all our secrets away. But you know what? We work with a lot of different companies, and we're friends with a lot of different chocolate companies. So when we have like the fancy food show or the different thing, confectionery shows, and all the different candy stores are together, candy companies are together. We're all friends, and we all work together.
You mentioned you worked for or did stuff for Hershey's.
Yeah, so at Hershey Park, we make their fudge. So in the park, when you go, we make a lot of fudge. So we do it for Disney World and for Hershey. And when you go down the shore, the Jersey Shore, East Coast people know the Jersey Shore. A lot of that fudge is ours. Yeah.
Do you ship to Hawaii?
We do not. I think
My sister, darn.
But I'm pretty sure there must be somewhere that that carries it. A lot of Hallmark stores, a lot of mom and pop stores, in Philly, the Reading Terminal Market, a lot of different candy companies carry our candy and call it their own. So that it's, we sell in big bulk boxes, and we sell candy cases. So a lot of little candy stores, they might make a few things of their own, and then they get our candy in. And we also, was saying before, we have sugar-free candy, and we use maltitol. That's our sugar substitute. And you do have to be careful using any of those sugar substitutes with the OL ending, because they are meant to go right through you. Like it can cause a stomach issue. So you don't want to eat a lot of it at a time. But people who are on a sugar restricted diet, if they're diabetics, they know they can only eat a little bit at a time. And ours is the best tasting. So it's not, stevia. It's not any of those things. It is maltitol, but it is the best tasting. Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal.
You're kind.
Are there any, well, I've had 2 pieces of your chocolate since you've been talking. It's so good.
Oh, good. Or do you like milk or dark?
Both. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I make a choice.
Right.
I just want to say you're killing me here, because all I could find in my house were, now you can't see them. Whoop.
I can see you.
Okay, you can't see what I'm holding up though. Oh, wait.
Oh,
Snickers.
yes, I
That's
see
all
it.
I could find. So I will be on your website very shortly.
Okay, good. Yeah. It's funny too. When my son who's 29, when he was a kid, I made all of their Halloween costumes, and I made this like wonderful Halloween costume, and I was so excited, and and we're getting ready to go out, and he said, I don't want to go out. And I said, what do you mean you don't want to go out for Halloween? I made you this costume, you're going out. And he goes, but why do I want to knock on doors for crappy candy when you have the best candy? I said, well, you are correct. And yet you are going to do it because I made that costume.
I have to say the almond brittle is on sale on the website, and it is fabulous.
Right. Good.
I love it. I've ordered it 3 times already. It's come very quickly, and it's always, I cannot stop eating it.
Oh, good.
Okay, I have a question. Okay, this is going to sound real tacky. I ordered off Amazon. Is the ones you sell on your website's the same ones that I order off Amazon, right?
Well, yeah. So Amazon, it comes from a company called Mixed. So it is our candy, but they are selling it. I'm pretty sure if you look down on Amazon, you'll see it says sold by Mixed.
You know, it just all says Asher on it when it comes, so I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah, yeah. But if you look on the list,
But now that I know, I won't go on Amazon. I'll come to y'all direct.
yeah, come right to ashers.com. And
But-
so we're a big building, and we have the retail store, and then the internet department is a separate department, but we all, talk to each other. We're just a different part of the building. So when I started here, we didn't have internet. I started the website. I was the first one with an email address. I'm Emma at Ashers. Everybody else has an initial and the last name at Ashers. But that's how long I've been here, is that I started like all that. And then we have to move it, we had to hire other people and have other people take it over, because it just got too big. Our retail store is not that big, and we do a killer business. And right now it's hard because we can only have like 10 people in the store at a time. So we, over Christmas, we had a door person. My daughter came in and worked it some days. Other people came in, and we had to limit the amount of people in the store. It's tough.
What is the renovation going to look like?
Well, it probably just painting at this point. They're hoping to make it bigger to expand the store at some point.
Emma,
We'll
everyone's saying your website looks wonderful. And one of the questions is, do you ship chocolates in the summer?
We do. And we use an insulated box and an ice pack. And I'm not sure if they do an extra ice charge, or it's just like an upcharge on the shipping, because they have to do that. And so then they do it like to get it to California or Arizona or wherever, it just goes 3 days. So it gets there in 3 days. I think Florida gets there in 2 days. Parts of Virginia are 1 or 2 days. We use UPS. And we pack everything really well.
Thank you. And then Emma, they're saying they did not remember what your favorite was, and then what your best seller was. What's your favorite number one, and what's your best seller number two?
So my favorite is the traditional vanilla caramel in milk chocolate. We have it in dark chocolate too, and that's very good. Just the traditional vanilla caramel, and almond butter crunch is pretty darn good too. And then our best sellers, probably chocolate covered pretzels. Chocolate covered pretzels are huge.
On the chat, I have posted your website. So
thank you.
On the chat. And then it's also on our website with this information.
Great.
Yes. And you have just been delightful. And
oh, you're so kind.
We are so happy that you would come off the floor and join us. And
well, let me see. I'm going to put on my mask and see if I can walk out into the store and you get to see my mask.
Great.
Let's see.
I'm brokenhearted that y'all don't sell the fudge on your website.
No, it's so tough because there's so many things. Now, if there's something that you don't see on our website and you want to order it, you can call the retail store and we'll pack it up and we'll take your credit card information and all that. Although in this next week, we probably won't because it's Valentine's. And it's just, Joe, if you could wait another week, we're just, we get slammed in the store. All right. So let's see if I can get out there and hopefully hold on. Okay. Walk out.
Thank you. And then after we have the tour with Emma, then I'd like to introduce you to some of our people that are on the Zoom with us.
Okay. So I'm going to show another thing we have right here. That's our hurt candy. So that's candy that gets hurt along the way. It's not perfect. And we sell that like for half price. We don't ship that. I'm gonna just hold the camera a different way so you can see sort of our store. See, a pretty thing. See, these are huge. And you can get those coffee bags on the website. And then what else did I want to show you? Oh, the candy cases.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, see, you can see. This is our little if you can see everything. And here are
Should I mix
these
milk and
things.
dark with it?
No, let's stay with dark. And so Easter is coming. If you can see all these things.
Yeah, like a chocolate.
See our little bunnies?
Oh,
And if I'm walking too fast for you. And these are the 4-ounce bags. And all our swag. Okay. And I'm gonna go back out because they're because it's so busy. There's people are waiting to come in too. And so that's our little store. It's cute, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I mean, Emma, you are just a doll. And thank you so much for the Zoom previously, and especially for this one, and for the extra 5 pounds that I will gain from the box that I purchased.
I always tell everybody, body by Ashers. Thank you very much.
But we have a toast. Glenn, are you still on that you will do a toast for us?
I am.
Great. So Glenn is our Toastmaster, and he is going to toast.
On behalf of the officers and members of the society, I want to thank you for joining us today and making our collective mouths water. The story of the Asher family is yet another tale of a man leaving behind his homeland to seek his fortune in America. I wanted to note that the family patriarch, Chester Asher, gave his new nation more than just delicious chocolate. His oldest son, Chester Jr., served in World War I, World War II, and Korea, and is rightfully buried at Arlington. This is, another family who came to America and made it theirs. The society wishes the Asher family and Emma and all of their employees happiness and good health. And may Asher's chocolate satisfy our sweet cravings for decades to come. Cheers.
Here, here, Emma.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you, thank you. And Emma, please stay on if you have time. If for those of you who have time, if you'll please stay on. We have a few of our organizing directors and our ambassadors, and I'd just like to introduce them to you. They'll have 20 seconds to talk if they have time. But first of all, I'd like to introduce you to the Parliamentarian National, Martha Hilton, and I saw that Martha was here. Are you still there, Martha?
I know her from DAR.
So Martha is our
Hello, ladies, gentlemen.
There's Maryland.
Martha.
Pleasure to see you all.
Thank you, Martha.
I have a penchant for 4-letter words in regard to Asher's chocolates. Road trip.
Love it. I love it. Well, you did under your 30 seconds. Good. And then our national organizing director is Nancy Gilfillan. Nancy, are you still on?
I'm here.
There you are.
Super. Thank you so much, Emma. I enjoyed it. I'm so hungry. And I love chocolate, and I have to get on the website right away. It's great to see everybody here today. Great turnout. And love to see all my ambassadors too.
Thank you. And we have our scholarship director, and she might be able to share a little bit more with you, and that's Chris Leffler. So Chris, if you please.
Yeah, hello everyone. Emma, thank you so much for your presentation. I am after those chocolate covered marshmallows. Oh my goodness. Anyway, congratulations to all the ambassadors for your effort with our scholarships. We have 5 amazing winners, and I hope you'll enjoy reading about them in the upcoming newsletter. They're just wonderful kids. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you. And our membership director is Sue Fitzpatrick. Sue, are you still on, please, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, I am. I'm here. I want to just say thank you to, I see what I picked the wrong background. I want to say thank you for all of those people that have reached out to friends and family to increase our membership. The numbers are growing, and I truly believe that we will get to that magic number of 2,000 like we hope. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sue. Our youth director is Maureen Tipton. Maureen, are you still on, please?
Hi, this is Maureen Tipton. I'm the youth director. And I went and got my Asher's chocolate. Today's my daughter's birthday, so all she's getting for her birthday is chocolate. We've been Asher's chocolate eaters for many years, and we thank you. And we look forward to a visit. She lives about an hour from your place. And everyone, we look to see if you can add some more youth members to this organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. Wayne Courageous, are you still on for long range planning for 30 seconds? I think he's already gone. Our national news magazine, we have outgrown the word newsletter. So our magazine editor is Pat. Pat, are you still here, please?
Yes,
Pat
ma'am.
Thibodeau?
Thank you to everybody for your inputs. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have a news magazine.
And we hope that you have all received your news magazine today. It was sent out about an hour ago. So many of our ambassadors are here. So those of you who are in different states and know the ambassadors, you'll know these names. Debbie Hansen, Lori Fracchio Kinney, Julie Barnes. Julie is one of our new ones. Cindy Johnson Sakuma, Donna Cohen, Bev Shealy, Trish Aaron, Sheila Vitello, Sue Moritz, Linda White, Cynthia Bixby. And I hope I have not missed anyone. I see that we have, is Eliano with you, Sarah?
She's not, she's in the other room.
All right, Sarah has our youngest member, and it's her daughter, Eliano, and she's 6 months old now?
She'll be 7 months tomorrow.
7 months tomorrow. So this is a family affair. And I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us this time, and wishing you the best weekend in the world. We do have one gentleman who he and I are playing a numbers game. He seems to think 32 is a good number to stop. You know, I think 35 is a better one. Don't you all? All think 35 is a better number.
Go, Bill, go.
You know,
He's doing really
they
well.
even know your name, Bill. They know your name. They know
Go,
your
Bill.
name. And he started off, he thought he said, I think I have 16. And I said, you said 20? And then he came up with more. And then he had 29. I love that number. And now he's up again. So what's your next numbers you're going to give us?
I'm done.
Oh, you're not. Oh, you're not. No. You just heard everybody ask you how easy.
I mean, I went back to the 1700s. I mean, gee whiz, it's kind of hard. Yeah.
Well, now we have to go somewhere else. We got to figure it out.
Really well.
Since we probably won't be on another one until next month, I want to thank everyone for answering my little Facebook article that I said, please help us celebrate Davina's birthday on February the 20th. And so what did I ask for her birthday? The number 800 on, was it 900? On
900.
Oh, she read, okay, 900 on supplements, and then a higher number, another 47 applications. So Davina, will you tell them where you are with all of these birthday presents that have been coming in daily?
1,116 members. We have 45 youth, and we have an astounding 875 supplements. Thank you to everyone. Wow.
875. But remember, 100% of scholarship money goes directly, 100% of supplements goes directly to scholarships. And that pleases Chris, that pleases our students, that helps us all. So it's this is a family affair. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I do see comments. Thank you so much about loving our society. And our next Zoom will be after the National Caucus. So we're trying to get that set up. Make sure you try and attend our National Caucus. It will be via Zoom, and it will be the election of officers and installation of officers. And then that will be a business session in March. And then a week later, we'll have another session with an open one. So I cannot thank you all enough for your membership, your support, and your love for National Society of Descendants of American Farmers. So with that,
Thank you, Janice Sue.
You're welcome. Email us, call us. We love the phone calls. Farmer Hugs, farmer kisses to all of you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Devane, so much.
Happy birthday,
Thank you so
Devane.
much.
Happy birthday.
Bye.
Davina.
Happy birthday. Have a
Thank
great
you.
weekend.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Happy Bye. birthday.
Was
Thank
great.
birthday.
Happy
Bye.
Good seeing everyone.
Davina.
Thanks a
Happy
lot.
birthday.
Bev, I didn't recognize you, Bev.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, you, no, that's fine. You recognize as an ambassador, you did.
oh, I'm
You
sorry.
did.
Okay.
No, you
Wait a
did.
minute. That's Bev. That's Bev.
Bev, I love
And
my
there's Rosalind.
background.
There's Rosalind and Donna. Donna, did I miss you? Oh, I got you. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
you did fine. Yep, you did.
Listen, it's not
Very
it's not
good.
easy. Just
It's all
Yep.
good.
Betsy was here. Betsy, go.
oh, Betsy.
She was here. I don't know if she is now, but she was here.
Betsy was here.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is. There's Betsy.
There's
Tina
Betsy.
Sue,
Yes.
Tina Sue,
There's Betsy.
I came in and out of the meeting because I was on another Zoom meeting at the same time.
Fine.
Wow.
I did a webinar on how to find your ancestor when you hit a brick wall. And of course, everything's at one time, but I thought the brick wall will help us get more members in. So
Yes.
that's why I was in and out. My apologies to everyone.
Oh, never.
Betsy, who was that Zoom through?
It was through